Welcome to the Introverted Influencer Podcast. I'm your host, Erica Van Slyke. My soul's mission on this planet is to help fellow introverts grow their online influence in a state of feminine flow and ease. While battling the woes of depression, anxiety, and even mom guilt, I've somehow managed to build a six-figure blog without the use of social media and without sacrificing my mental health. If I can do it, you can fucking too. Welcome back to episode 16 of the Introverted Influencer Podcast. I cannot believe that it's almost officially the start of summer. And with that, I want to go ahead and give you a little warning that I may not be as consistent with these episodes over the next few weeks. I know I have been releasing one a week, but I am going to have a lag in my childcare when my boys get out of school in a few days. And you better believe me, I am going to send them to summer camp, but the camp doesn't start until June, so there's that. And not to mention, the past 4 months or so have been some of the most stressful times of my life. And I think that my soul is craving a bit of a break before I dive into working on a new business venture that I have been putting off forever. And so I need a little respite before I jump into that and tackle that later on in the summer when my boys go to camp. So there's just a lot going on in my life right now. And I know one day that I'll get it behind me and I'll be comfortable discussing more openly the lessons I'm learning. But essentially, I've been going through some growing pains and challenges that happen when you decide to step out of your comfort zone and step into your next level self. So I'll be okay, and I can't wait to share what I've learned in the venture when that's complete as well. So today I felt called to address something that happens commonly when you do decide to step into the next level of yourself, but you're in that baby phase of your goals where you've decided who you want to be or how you want to live, what you want to do. And you've gotten the ball rolling in many ways, but your goals haven't actually manifested into physical reality. So you kind of feel like a crazy person or maybe even a fraud at this point of your journey. And while you're putting your head down and doing what you know you need to do, the money still hasn't shown up in the bank, or the customers still haven't come in, or the business metrics aren't reflecting much progress. And this is the time when it's a dark time because you're just really relying on your faith and your intuition and your conviction. And that's kind of all you have. And you may be tempted to reach out to your loved ones for moral support or just some kind of confirmation that you're on the right path. Because at this point, you have no physical evidence to reflect that to you. But then when you do reach out for some love, the people basically reflect back to you your biggest fears. That you don't have what it takes, or that it's not logical or practical. And, you just might as well go back to the corporate world and play it safe like everyone else and suppress those dreams, baby. Or even another scenario, I'll never forget just how much it hurt when I got my first big magazine feature. And I was so excited that I made the mistake of sharing my triumph and joy with everyone, and expecting them to be on the same page as me and be happy too, be happy for me. But some of those in my circle at the time really just diminished my accomplishment. I found it very odd. it's like they were somehow trying to take it away from me. And in my 7 years of blogging now, I have had to just learn a few reframes that help me deal with the sting of being disappointed by people, so that now it doesn't affect me as much. I mean, I'm not a robot. I still experience this, but I've found that by managing my expectations of people, that when I do occasionally feel slighted, I can let it roll off of me easier. So I wanted to share 2 things to keep in mind when you are having the courage to go out there, be seen, and finally make your dreams a reality when most of those around you are not. So first thing to keep in mind is that the world of online entrepreneurship is so new that, and it's really abstract. I think to most people living in the ordinary 9-to-5 world, that many simply don't understand what you're doing. They're fucking clueless, and that's their loss. Just forgive them and move on. I seriously cannot tell you how many people to this day don't understand the concept of my blog making ad revenue. Like, really? You watch TV or probably listen to the radio, don't you? And you see how filthy rich those networks are? So why the hell would you question how my blog can do the same thing? I'm not sure why that's so mind-blowing to people. But okay, I should not get on an angry tangent here. I need to be light and love. So let's just move on to my second point. I'll take a deep breath. My second point, second reframe, second thing to keep in mind. Most people are miserable in their day-to-day grind and are just basically trying to keep their heads above water. I don't want to take credit for this quote, and I wish I could find it again and figure out who it was from. But it was a meme that was floating around early on in Instagram when I first started blogging, and I really, really relied on this, and I would kind of play it in my head when I was experiencing that kind of disappointment from others. And I'm pretty sure it went, don't expect others to be happy for you. They can't even be happy for themselves. And I would say a lot of people out there live in a mental state full of judgment, scarcity, competition, and fear. They haven't done the mindset work for themselves. They haven't even tried to perceive their reality from a better feeling place. And they are basically just trapped in this paradigm of struggle and disappointment. So knowing that most people are living in a very negative place with negative thought patterns, and consequently having negative results reflected back to them in their physical reality, how can you expect them to find joy in what you're doing when they can't even find the joy in their own lives? And I know it's sad, and I know you probably want to help them. You probably want to help them see the light. But it's really important to be aware of who those people are in your life. And maybe one day you can be an example to them when you're further on in your path and your results are more tangible and evident. But until then, keep your aspirations and your wins to yourself. And so now you're probably thinking, well, hell, everybody in my life's negative. What am I supposed to do? And if your circumstances are anything like mine were back in the day, there just came a point in my blogging journey when my circle of friends diminished dramatically because I refused to waste my energy on one-sided relationships where I felt I was giving and supporting to the other person, and I was not getting that back at all. If anything, I kind of sensed some jealousy and competition. And maybe other people weren't necessarily slighting me, but I was just sick of surrounding myself with victim mentality and negative thinking and gossip. It was exhausting and draining. And so, guess who my new friends became? This is going to sound like delusional, but since I'm an introvert and I was isolated, I was working from home with 2 babies, so I didn't have much time to socialize. I found comfort and inspiration by saturating myself in the words and content of people living their best lives that I resonated with. Podcasts, self-help books, YouTubers, you name it. But basically, if I found their message aspirational and if it felt in alignment with my soul wants and kind of resonant with what I intuitively know life should be, I just, every day, listening to a podcast while I'm putting on my makeup, while I'm brushing my teeth, I had to just surround myself in that. And so you may have to do the same if you don't have the luxury of going to a conference or going to some kind of networking event. So ultimately, the message today here is to be very mindful of who you are spending your energy on and who you are getting feedback and advice from. Don't expect others to be happy for you, and it would be of great value to consider removing the negative thinkers from your inner circle and replacing the naysayers and gossipers with people doing what you want to do. People who are making their dreams happen and doing the damn thing. And it may just have to be right now through podcasts or books. Just however you can get it. Submerge yourself in high, abundant, expansive vibes and believe in the best. Maybe one day when you land the book deal or your business has made the big time, those other people will get it. But until then, I wouldn't waste your breath. It's a hard message I've had to learn, but it is what it is. I hope you found this message helpful today, and I will do my best to show up over the next few weeks, but I'm not going to force anything because I got a lot going on. I'm going to have kids home with me, and I've got to prioritize the business that actually makes me money right now. And I always say flow over force. So I got to practice what I preach. As I said, I make no money from this podcast, and it's actually costing me money. So it would mean the world to me if you could show your support by giving this show a 5-star review, sharing it with a friend, or by screenshotting this episode on your phone, uploading it to your Insta story, and tagging me in it at Designing Vibes. Sending you my love.